The story of the Old Testament tells us of a an image of what God did through the children of Israel when they were in Egypt, getting ready to leave Egypt and go into the promised land. And Moses instructed the children of Israel this way. He said, because the angel of the Lord will come upon the whole land of Egypt, and if a family's house does not have blood on the door, the angel will go in and kill the firstborn of every family. So God instructed Moses to tell the children of Israel to get a lamb, slay the lamb, and take the blood and put it on the front porch of the house, so that when he comes by, he will bypass. Easter is also known as a parallel of the Old Testament story of that, what we call the Passover, when the angel of death came and passed over the children of Israel because they had blood on the door of their home. And all the houses of Egypt did not have the blood, and the angel knows where to go in. Now, it doesn't sound like supernatural way, but when you realize that God works with us in our endeavor to do and be obedient to him, in our obedience to God, as in the case of Egypt, of the Israelites in Egypt, I'm sure some of them would think, what the heck is this? But because the word and the instruction came from God, it was to their advantage if they obey. Sometimes you and I know that sometimes the instructions of God does not seem logical sometime in the mind, but those instructions are given as a witness in our heart so that we can be obedient. And when we obey him, we know the blessings of being spared from the wrath that was supposed to come. And I'm sure that night when the children of Israel were doing this, I'm sure some of the Egyptian neighbors were saying, what the hell is going on with the Israelites? They're painting their door with the blood. But what they had no idea of is that there is an instruction. Sometimes people will look at you and will say, what is going on? And they don't have to obey an instruction that was given to you. And most of the time, God will warn us in time of trouble ahead, and he will give us an instruction that if we follow it and obey it, it is to our advantage. It will protect us from the harm and the danger that lies ahead of us. It's a wonderful thing when we are guided and protected by God, because he knows the future. And because he knows the future, he will find a way that will help us in our simple steps of obedience to do the next thing. I have known this to be a true thing in my life. I've told you my story on what happened to me when I gave my life to Jesus. It was a 6-month preparation time when the gentleman that came with the team from California came to my village. And he said to me, read the book of Revelation. That was my preparation time for protection of what is ahead of me. Who would have known what mistakes I would have made after high school, after graduating from high school, without the experience of having Jesus come into my life in that nick of time around February 9th, 1971. God knows what is ahead of you. Remember this, even during this time and this weekend and the remembrance of Easter. Easter is when God so loved the world that he gave, and he brought us Jesus to become the Savior. Anything and everything that you wish you could do right, he has done right. Everything that you need and you want to do to make you feel worthy, God says you're not worthy of my goodness. You're only worthy of my goodness when you accept what I gave you through my Son. Take the resurrection and the life of my Son and bring it into your life so that you can then be pleasing to him. everything we do from here on out is that we base it on obedience, because now he is a guide standing and walking alongside us. I'm remembering a story many years ago. I was listening to a preacher preaching a story of a man and his son walking on the beach, and the footprints was what the kid saw. And then he questioned God later on, and he said, Lord, I remember those footprints because I saw my dad and I's footprints on the sand. But it looks like every time there was a lot of water and the wave hit over, I only saw one set of footprints. Where were you when I needed you at that time? Because I was walking alone. And God reminded him, and he said, son, those moments when the waves were higher and bigger, those were the moments I took you by my side and lift you up and carry you by myself. Those footprints you saw in the sand are mine as I carry you from times when you couldn't do it. Remember this? This is a season of reminding us that God says there is no one else and nothing else can be done to bring you and I into a close intimacy with him. In the Old Testament, it talks about sin offering and animals that were offered to please, and they were killed and their blood was shed so that the sin of the people who were committing the sin had to be, they lay their hands on the top of the bulls, and then the priest would come and slay the bull, and the blood is enough to sacrifice for them. And for so long, that has been the tradition of Israel until Jesus came and he said, bulls, the blood of bulls and goats is not enough. I will come and offer myself as a sacrifice needed and necessary for everything that human needs to be corrected and to live in a right relationship with God. My prayer is that you will be that you will know the freedom, that you will know the cleanliness, you will know the peace and the joy of God by having him come into your life this day. God bless you. This is Jose Leal reminding you, please subscribe to my video, like it, and share with your friends. And if you want to help me as a missionary, please go to my homepage of my YouTube page, click on the coffee.com and buy me a cup of coffee. Okay? Thank you. Bye-bye for now.